This evening, we're at Bodean's, a small range of barbecue smokehouses in London. I used to come here quite a lot. I haven't been to one for about 10 years. So, as a wise food blogger once said, let's give it a go. So I used to come to these reasonably frequently about 10 years ago, but I haven't been in one for a really long time. And it's kind of because I've been doing reviews of larger chains, it's interesting because there's only 4 of these in London. There's 3 of the smokehouses in Camden, Covent Garden and Tower Hill. And there's a diner which is over in Soho, and I don't know what the difference between the diner menu is. Didn't look it up beforehand because I really wanted the ribs. But it's interesting that it's so small as a chain, right? So it's like that aphorism they say about running restaurants. So running one and making money out of it is okay, reasonably easy. Running 2 and making money out of it, a bit harder, but you can still do it. Running 3, you're basically bankrupt. But if you own 100 of them, you're rich and happy. And it's that whole kind of, what do you do to get that investment, bring in that private equity money, and really grow those chains so that you're the next Nando's? And these guys, obviously I'm assuming, but this is just what I assume has happened. It looks like they had an idea, they grew to a certain size, and they've kept it really tight. Oh, it's buzzing in here. Let's see what they've done with the food. I hadn't realised how noisy the place was when I was in there doing this review. So now that I'm editing it, I realise that most of me talking about the menu, you can't hear a word I'm saying. So I've got videos of the menu, and what we're going to do is I'll just talk through in post what the menu looks like. I actually went to Bodean's because I wanted the ribs. I really like barbecue, really like ribs, and on the menu I could only see 1 ribs, right? And I was kind of like, do you only do 1 ribs? And the person who was looking after me very generously turned the menu over and pointed out the back where there was more rib options. But in terms of the menu, there's loads on there. We've got a good selection of burgers, we've got hot dogs, we've got some kind of specials, we've got the ribs, and on the other side of the menu, they've got the combo, so you can have chicken and you can have ribs, so if you don't want all of the same thing, you can. Lots of different options for sides, lots of different options for starters. Anyway, back to Friday night. So each of the tables has got some sauces with it, so I've just put them out here for you to look at. So we've got smoked hickory barbecue, hot chipotle barbecue, Kahlua hot sauce, and that glass one at the end. I presume that's like a homemade hot sauce. I'm going to find out about that, but I'll get back to you. I'm going to try all of them because can you tell how excited I am about this? I feel if this is bad, I'm going to be so disappointed. So this wasn't what I was expecting at all. I was expecting a rack of ribs. This is like one giant rib. This is why I should look things up. It's fine. I'm sure it's going to be, what it is, and we're going to review it. So we'll see. Look how kind of thick, juicy this is. This looks amazing. First bite was with the eye. We're going to try chips. Now, as you know, I have a theory about chips, which is the trick is just cook them longer than you would expect. These are fries. I'm trying to find a nice big one to do as the first example. Here it is. Yeah, it's really good. Really nicely seasoned, cooked really nicely. These are fries, so I'm going to hoof a few of them at the same time. Yeah, they're okay. I'm going to say these are. Yeah, they're fine. They're what I kind of expect from chips. We've got the main event. Let's do a little bit of this and see what it's like. Yeah, it's. I'm gonna do a bit more and let you know what I think. I think it needs some sauce. Like it's tender, it's moist, it's juicy. It's got some flavour, very subtle. So I think, but I want that kind of soaked in barbecue sauce flavour. Let's see how it affects that. Let me show you just effortlessly that falls off the bone. So I'm just gently nudging it with the fork. It just kind of falls apart. It's been cooked so slow, so long. So right. So we've got a bit now in. We're going to try the hot chipotle barbecue first. Yeah, that's nice. Yeah. That's really good. Lots of flavour, lots of warmth. Let's try the other sauce, which is the smoked hickory. Yeah, I'd say that's more of a classic barbecue sauce flavour, the hickory, which is a shame because I loaded way more on my plate with the other one. Let's try the chips and the thing and the sauce together. Yeah, it's good. It's good. Let's try the gherkin. Yeah, really good, really satisfying, crisp, soft. Excellent. And the final thing to try is the coleslaw. See what that's like. Yeah, I think they could have done a bit more with the coleslaw. That's a bit. It's a bit Sainsbury's. Yeah, okay, well, I'm going to work my way through this and let you know what I think. So in my quest to find somewhere quiet in the West End to kind of finish off this review, I've ended up in one of the Leicester Square casinos, which was something of a surprise, but it is quiet in here. And I thought it'd be quieter than the W because it's Friday night. Anyway, so let's do the review of Bodean's. One of the things that's really important to me personally is this idea of having a thesis and being really intentional about how you carry it out. So kind of like, if you're going to do something, do it with intent, but have kind of a purpose or a plan behind it to sort of guide what it is you're doing. And it's kind of thing I do in my work life, personal life, really important to me. And it really comes through in Bodean's and what they're doing. They clearly have a thesis about what they're doing, and it's said on the menu, it's been going for 20 years. It's clear as day that they've adhered to that thesis as they've done what they've done, and it really comes through. And hopefully my scoring methodology is going to show that it really comes through. We're going to find this out. As ever, let's go through the 4 categories. So ambience is really good. It was, I'm going to have to ding them for a couple of things, but generally speaking, the detail, they'd obviously spent some money on the interior, they kind of carried through the design language, the theme of the brand. Everything was clean, fresh, really good. The thing I need to ding them on, my table wasn't straight, it just kind of fell apart. The other thing, my thing as we know is kind of dining on your own, and they kind of stuck me in a corner away from everybody else, so I did feel like I genuinely had no friends, and I think that kind of sucks a little bit, so that lets it down. So the ambience, I'm going to give it 4, because I think I have to be more fair about the intentionality that they've done in terms of what they've done with the layout. Service when you're eating out on your own, it's always really difficult because realistically, what are you kind of looking for? Person who served me was really good, really attentive, made sure I understood where everything was, and you can see, like, just by sitting around observing how they're all working, it was kind of slick, really well put together. So I think I'm going to score them 4 as well. That was good, above average, really decent service. The food, they had such a thesis for what they were doing. Now, it's difficult for me in that I ended up buying and eating something I didn't want. That's on me. Like, I should have read the menu better. I didn't realise I was getting a beef rib. I wanted those baby back ribs. But what they did really came through. Like, it fell off the bone. It was flavourful. The main Jacob's Ladder kind of piece. The sauces they gave you were full of flavour. The chips, chips kind of important. They're a nice benchmark across all the other restaurants, right? The chips, they're only a little bit above average. They weren't great. The only way I made the chips good was that bottle of hot sauce, which was homemade hot sauce. Just dunked it on the chips, mixed it in with the coleslaw, and ate those together. That was nice. It was good. I'm going to score the food. 4.5. Look, they have clearly a deliberate thesis and an intent for what they're going to do, and they're doing it genuinely, like really, really good. Pricing, that came to about £35. So for that special, which was 26, and a Diet Coke service, it was £34.50. Yeah, I think I'm going to call that 4, because they were being genuine with the pricing. They were trying to fit it to a point. You could tell that they weren't being like super generous. It was a fair fair better than average. I'm going to give that 4. So, now that I've kind of thought through what we're going to do for the scores, let's total it all up. So it took me a while to double check the maths on that, but basically, Bodean's gets a really solid 4.2. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you next time.